It's back. Hello. Time for me to actually crack on with this case rather than dilly-dally for an hour and a half and thing. Yeah, so last time all we did was sort of this intro bit, which I like these bits when there's like no crime taking place yet. I'm just taking way too long to get through this one. It's causing a bit of a lull. But let's continue for and I finally I remembered. Well, I didn't remember. I went and watched back and figured out what the actual voice for this dude was, and it was actually alright. Mr. Sholmes, sir. That's the voice. So we're done with him for now. But there's a spade, look. Oh. Look at that enormous ledger on the open counter there.
Mr. Windibank is, if nothing else, very particular about recording the items he accepts.
He'd have to be, otherwise he'd get himself into all sorts of trouble. Which might explain the thing that catches my eye far more than the ledger. The gun.
This revolver here. Do not entertain even a single thought of pilfering an article herein, my dear fellow. I assure you, Mr. Windibank would not hesitate to draw that weapon with a speed belying his portly size.
Oh, you don't mean he'd...
Blow his brains out, indeed, in recompense for his blunder.
Oh my! But in any case, of course we would never do such a thing. How could you even suggest it? Alright, apologies. There seems to be a little door hidden behind that curtain there.
That leads to the storage room, where Mr. Windibank keeps articles that are currently in pawn.
Ah, I see.
There's nothing of particular interest inside. I certainly wouldn't recommend any larcenous activity.
Recommended or not, it's not something I tend to do.
There is but one key, and Mr. Windibank keeps it in his pocket at all times.
This sounds like a relevant piece of information for a case.
Before he sleeps, he places it into a small pot, which he slides under his pillow. Mr. Sholmes, how on earth do you know about that, Mr. Sholmes? I am a detective, sir. It's my business to know what others do not. I am frequently assailed by information that I neither care for nor wish to retain.
Mr. Sholmes, you are a wonder. And the prime suspect if this prawn brokery is ever burgled. Nothing on the clocks. Am I really not interested by these many clocks? Oh, there's this clock. Or gong. Look at this! What could this lovely big shiny box be?
Ah, that, my dear madam, is a music box.
Oh, I was wrong.
Surely you have such things in your own country.
Oh my! Yes, but I've certainly never seen one so large before.
Shall we listen a while?
Ah, what a sublime sound. It's like the music of angels.
I've never heard anything like it before in my life. This particular specimen is of the larger variety, commonly found in public houses and restaurants. There is a metal disc inside on which the notes to be played are recorded. Simply by replacing the disc with another, any music you care to imagine can be played.
My goodness, what a simply delightful machine.
Indeed, though their popularity has waned recently with the development of the gramophone, of course.
There is something so funny about the gramophone being the new technology. Ah, science and technology advance at such an overwhelming pace. What an assortment of things there are on these shelves here. Crockery, footwear, clocks and watches. Almost anything you care to imagine.
Those are forfeited items, offered for sale by the pawnbroker.
What does that really mean, though?
When you pawn, or colloquially pop them, or pop an item, the broker loans you money against its worth. He stores the item for an agreed period of time, after which the loan must be repaid. If not, he is free to display it in his shop for sale, at a price of his choosing.
Oh yes, now you've explained it, I'm noticing little price tags on everything.
Of course, simply by paying the agreed interest on the loan, one can extend the period of safekeeping. You may pawn that black garb of yours without fear, my dear fellow.
My treasured university uniform? Never! It embodies my student spirit. Now what do you suppose this rather enormous machine does? It seems to have two little windows for looking through.
Aha! Allow me to enlighten you, my dear fellows. What you are looking at is a stereoscope.
A stereoscope? Fascinating.
It is aptly named, I assure you. Look through the eyepieces and see for yourself.
Oh, I should be delighted to. Excuse me a moment while I just have a look.
Just before you do, there is something I should point out. This one's a gag one, and it makes black marks around your eyes. My dear fellows, in order to see the image properly, stereoscopically, as it were, you will need to be cross-eyed. However, if that is beyond you, it is of little consequence today.
Alright then, I'm going to try it. Ah! Mr. Naruhodo, you must see at once. Oh, alright then. So I need to be cross-eyed, like I'm trying to look at my own nose. Dun, 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 dun.
What the?
That's the juror from case 3. The maid.
What the? I don't believe it.
Oh, wait. 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 No. Does it actually work? Hang on. Let me see if I can watch the stream on the delay. Full screen. No. I can't make that work. One more try. Max quality. No, it doesn't work. That was a bit stupid of me. Whatever. Worth a try. It's just a photographic print, but it seems like you could reach out and touch it.
Yes, the sense of depth is startling, is it not? Stereoscopes are one of London's many fads. They are often found in little stalls at the park. People queue for hours to see them.
Of course they queue for it because, you know, England.
Why are people meddling with such black magic?
It is no magic, my dear madam. It is, well, far too complicated to explain at present. We shall save this lesson for another day.
Oh.
Wow, that's a fun little... I swear, this game has like so many bonus little scenes like that. That's not a calendar you could easily miss, is it? 15th of April, today's date. Yes.
Ah, Mr. Solmes. Yes, that's not for sale, I must point out. It's an Eastern-style page-a-day calendar. Every night at midnight, I tear off the front page to reveal the following day's date. The perfect calendar for a tearaway fellow such as yourself, Mr. Windibank.
Tearaway fellow. And who was it who walked out of here with the wrong violin before?
Well, when the agreed storage period has passed without repayment, articles are forfeited, you see. Mr. Schultz, so I have to keep a close eye on the date. It's something of a pawnbroker's obsession, you might say.
Oh yes, I can see why you're I can see you're very dedicated to your job. Look at this! Whatever could it be used for?
I have no idea.
Ah! There's a small catch just here, look!
We're going to open it, aren't we?
Oh my! That's amazing! It has some sort of spring-loaded mechanism.
Which we'll never manage to put back to the way it was before. There is some purpose to all these little trinkets and all these little scenes, right? Surely. There's going to be some subtle, like the game is priming you for some other thing. Maybe it's showing us that we can... Maybe it's priming the fact that this case is going to involve some crazy mechanism. And it's trying to prime us so that we're not as blown away and like, oh, so that it keeps the suspension. I don't know. I don't know. I think I'm looking too...
What are you two doing?
What? Us? Nothing. No, nothing at all. Whatever this device is, it seems to have a pair of little windows to look through. I feel though I've seen something rather similar to this elsewhere.
What? Only tuppence for it? That ain't fair and you know it!
So, the article is barely worth a penny, miss. I cannot offer more.
Sounds like there's an argument brewing over by the counter.
Oh, come on. That can't be right.
I guessed the character correctly.
Have you even had a proper butcher's at it? Oh, I've seen all I...
Mr. Soldier, I've seen all I need to see, young girl.
Wait. Don't we know? I'm sure I recognise her.
Oh, yes, it's the young lady from Mr. McGilded's trial 2 months ago.
Oh, come on. I thought I was finally done with the Irish accent. It's so bad.
Half an hour. Her name is Gina.
It's so bad. Goodness me. She has a good theme as well. Okay.
Top of the morning to ya. My damn defence lawyer won't defend me properly, so I'm gonna have to forge the evidence myself. Her name is Gina Lestrade, me lord. She's a chancer, earns her crust among large crowds, believing people of their purses. What's commonly called a pickpocket. Gordon Bennett, you lot!
I do especially like how if an American was playing this game, like they would think all the English phrases are overdone, but they honestly aren't. Like this is just right. It's just the right amount of like phrases and stuff.
Hello, Miss Lestrade. I hope you've been well. Hey, what? You remember me then, do ya?
Well, I remember being completely surrounded by smoke, that's for sure.
So, what are you doing in here? Down and out like the rest of us? Nothing to eat? Come to pop that black weasel? Sorry, coat, you have you?
I'll try that one again. I screwed that up.
Down and out like the rest of us? Nothing to eat? Come to pop that black weasel?
Oh, fuck. Last try.
Down and out like the rest of us? Nothing to eat? Come to pop that black weasel? Sorry, coat, have ya?
What is it about this black uniform that makes everyone comment on it?
Ah, good day. Unless I'm much mistaken, you would be the young pickpocket who stole our experimental smoke grenade launcher.
Oh, Mr. Sholmes.
So, you have something of value to pawn, do you? Allow me to see the article, and I shall negotiate with Mr. Windibank on your behalf.
In other words, make up some incredible story.
Oh, the other one? I don't need no help from some stuck-up D. Get out of my business. Go on, or I'll make trouble for you.
As you wish, Miss Lestrade. I will happily remove myself from your presence.
Fades into nothingness. He's really done it. He's gone. He's really done it. He's gone.
Oh, I'm sorry, but as I said, there really is no room for negotiation here.
What is that thing he has in his hand? Some kind of metal disc? Oh, it's a thing for the music thingy.
And you, go on, leave me alone. Oh, Miss Lestrade, just pretend we aren't here. We shan't be offended in the slightest.
Susato-san can really stand her ground when she wants to.
Whatever.
Would you have a look at, that's strange. Where's my armband gone?
What's the problem? Something wrong? Don't suppose you're looking for this?
Yes, but how? And when? And how again?
I got a talent for it, haven't I?
Is it diving? Living? No, it's diving, surely.
Surely.
Diving? I'm stupid. That's bordering on black magic. And it makes what I was about to say about my armband seem a little dull.
So, what do you want to tell me about it then?
Anything different? Oh, it is as well. Everything! Really? Okay, game. Because now we don't have the Shomes here. Look at Mr. Windibank, watching diligently over his shop. There are still so many things I'm curious about.
I don't believe this is a time for browsing, Mr. Naruto.
We should probably see whether that argument's been resolved yet, I suppose. Oh, okay. Yeah, he probably doesn't exactly like Gina. He's probably had a few things that go missing from time to time. Oh.
Mr. Windibank, what exactly is this metal disc that Miss Lestrada's brought in? It seems to have hundreds of little tiny bumps on its surface.
Ah, Mr. Sholmes. Ah, this is a music disc, you see? For use inside a music box.
In the music box.
What? You don't even know what a music box is? You Eastern lot ain't too savvy, eh?
I know what a music box is, I've just never seen one of these discs before.
It's a small protrusions on the metal disc encode the tune to be played by the music box. Just simply insert the disc and set the machine going, and beautiful music plays.
It's so incredible. Tell us what tune is on this disc.
Well, I'm afraid I couldn't tell you that. There's so many different types of music box, see? British made, German, Swiss. I have no way of knowing which particular machine this disc was made for.
Ah, I see. We haven't invented standardization yet.
And that's it in a nutshell. Mr. Sholmes, I wouldn't have any customers for an item like this, even if the young lady forfeited it. Really, I'm already offering more than I should at a penny.
Give her a penny and a farthing.
There's a packet of lies. He told me he did. He said it was, well...
He? Who?
Never you mind. It just ain't right, I tell, that's all. That disc's worth good money, I know it is.
Well then, you'll have to try your luck at another pawnbroker's, won't you?
Arr!
She's been in here before, of course, this little Tatterdemalian.
I see. I've got to look up two different words now, right? There was Tatterdemalian. Tatterdemalian. Wow. Let's see the usage history. It had a big spurt of usage in like 1920. It's died off, and apparently it's became more popular again the past few years. Weird. What was the word Sholmes used? I can't remember.
I see. And brought some dubious article or other with her every single time, I might add.
Dubious? What are you trying to say? I'm an honest customer, mate.
So, is there something dubious about the discs you brought in today?
Well, if only were that simple.
Sorry, what do you mean?
What she actually brought in was a storage ticket.
Ah, a storage ticket, so Miss Lestrade has actually come to redeem an article from you today. Is that right? Yeah, that's right. A girl like me has an awful lot of stuff what needs storing.
Alright, yes, that's definitely dubious.
The article in question would have been forfeited at midnight tonight. But as she gave me the ticket for it, and repaid both the loan and the interest, I was obliged to return the article to her.
But what was the article? Do tell us, Mr. Windibank.
The little scamp is wearing it, ma'am.
Scarf?
Oh. It's the overcoat that she redeemed. Oh.
What? What's wrong with that? It fits, don't it? I mean, it's mine, so of course it does. So, what about the disc then? Does that come into all this?
Ah, this is for something else. A new article to pawn, if the girl and I can agree a price.
Let's talk to her now. Somehow, I didn't really think you were the sort of person who'd use a pawnbroker, Miss Lestrade.
Yeah, well I am. Alright? I'm a Londoner, just like everyone else. That a problem, is it?
No, not at all. It's just that, well...
Oh, I get it. I know what you're thinking. That thing probably don't even belong to her. Probably got it on the dive, didn't she? Yeah, I can see it all written all over your Chevy Chase.
Well, I might have been thinking something along those lines.
We're not going to deny it, Mr. Naruhodo.
Alright then, I'm just going to come out and ask you straight. Do you pawn things that you steal from other people?
Well, I don't know how best to answer that, really. Suppose, sometimes. You're not going to deny it either, Miss Lestrade. But not this time, alright? I swear, that thing belongs to me.
The disc that Mr. Windibank is holding. Perhaps we should see what he has to say about all this. Is he outside on Baker Street? Sorry, I hope he's outside. This game's soundtrack is just so good.
I'm confused. I thought you said that Miss Lestrade brought in a storage ticket today. It's really quite simple. Yes, the child brought me a storage ticket and the money owed on it, as you say.
This heavy black coat which you returned to her to care, as I understood it.
That's right, yes. And rather unsurprisingly, as soon as that little ragamuffin put the thing on, she went rifling through the pockets.
In other words, she's gotten away with something here.
Oh, you mean...
What? Don't you know it's rude to stare at a lady? Ah, I see. So it came from the pocket of the overcoat, did it?
If you mean this disc, then yes, exactly, ma'am. Yes.
And she immediately tried to pawn it.
At quite a high price as well. This is all rather suspicious, I think.
Give it up. I'm just trying to pawn something like anyone else would. Miss Lestrade, may I ask who deposited the overcoat here in the first place? Well, me.
Doesn't really appear to be your size.
Me old man. It's me old man's, ain't it? It is it, Miss Lestrade?
Yes, this is definitely all rather suspicious. Out of my way, please, Tobias Gregson. Oh, it's this guy. This guy is on the box art for the game. And that means he must be very relevant. Who's this picture postcard English gentleman? I do wonder if he's a government chap.
Good day to you, ladies, gentlemen.
What's your problem, eh?
There is no problem, as long as you remove yourself. I've a matter to discuss with the proprietor. And if you intend to make a problem of it, I shall see you outside, little girl, for the hiding you deserve.
Look, ain't it obvious? I ain't done talking with him yet. If you think you're such a gent, you should know how to wait in line.
Well, you are an impudent little brat, aren't you? As well as a pickpocket.
Eh? Who are you? How do you know who I am?
The question is, how do you not know who I am? You haven't the courtesy to even remember the faces of your victims, it seems.
What? You mean from you?
Broker? Yes, sir.
I want to give him the... you know what, I'm just going to give him Edgeworth voice, but modified, because I think... I haven't used the Edgeworth style voice. I believe this filthy pocket thief has just redeemed an article from you, no?
Yes.
The article in question belongs to me. I demand for it to be returned at once.
Oh my! Now that's a lie. What are you trying to pull?
Nah, Edgeworth voice doesn't suit him. He's too casual to get the proper, like, proper Edgeworth voice. Like, look at his face, right? Like,
Oh, give me back my overcoat, you wastrel. Needless to say, any music box discs, too.
No, you can't have it. You just can't. It's my old man's. Or it was. Now it's mine. Goodness, Mr. Naruhodo. This is a very awkward situation.
yes. I think perhaps we should hear both sides of the story in a little more detail. Oh, ay, 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 ay.
Oh.
Miss Lestrade, what is what the gentleman is saying? What do you think? What do you think? It's all lies, ain't it? Obviously. I swear on my life, I ain't never laid eyes on that dandy before.
Let's hear it now, you little ragamuffin. You stole it, didn't you? That ticket you brought in here just now.
No, I swear it. I swear it to God.
It was barely an hour ago. I was walking along the street, minding my own business, when this little gutterling ran into me. I knew at once what had happened. I've been robbed yet again, I thought to myself. Those wretched pickpockets.
Yet again.
Oh yes, as you can see, I'm a man of impeccable style. This isn't the first time that I've been targeted by these backslum scoundrels. Now then, relinquish my overcoat. Oh, come along now, Miss Lestrade. Give the good gentleman his coat back. Oh, come along now, Miss Lestrade. Give the good gentleman his coat back. If you're going to cause trouble, I shall have no choice but to call the police.
Hold on. Why does everyone think it's me? Just look at this dandy cove, and you think I'm the dodgy one?
I'm sorry, but nobody's going to believe you. I'm sorry, but nobody's going to believe you.
Well, what about evidence? Yeah. Where's your evidence that I've stolen something, eh? Come on, let's see it.
Oh, I have evidence, naturally.
You what?
Excuse me, but who are you?
Oh, one would expect the inquirer to introduce himself first. Though clearly you are not British, so perhaps our ways are foreign to you.
Oh, sorry, yes. We're from the Empire of Japan. We're studying here.
Oh yes, Japan. I've heard talk of the place. Its inhabitants live on some fiery, brown-coloured soup, dressed up with exotic spices.
You might be thinking of somewhere else. What was that theatrical gesticulation about?
Perhaps. Anyway, if you are a gentleman, sir, you offer your own name first, before inquiring after the name of another.
Of course, yes. I'm Ryunosuke Naruhodo. I'm a lawyer. Well, a student of law, really.
My name is Susato Mikotoba. I'm Mr. Naruhodo's assistant.
I see. My name is Benedict. Yes, Eggert Benedict.
Is this a pun name? Eggert Benedict. Egg Benedict. Isn't Egg Benedict just like a food item? I'm so stupid. I'm actually so stupid. Yeah, it is. It's a breakfast. I knew it. Apparently it's... Is he American? Because it says the place of origin is New York. Maybe he's American.
Yes, Eggert Benedict.
Maybe I should give an American voice. But how do you do posh gentleman?
Enchanté.
No. I'm just going to stick with that.
He's so refined in how he holds himself and how he speaks, but that name is
Suspicious.
now to the matter at hand. My overcoat. Return it at once to someone with the style to carry it off.
Every move he makes, every breath he takes, I can't stand watching him.
Was that the only thing with him? Yes, it was. I knew it. Oh. Evidence that the article Miss Lestrade redeemed actually belongs to this gentleman.
Of course, we need only consult Mr. Windibank's ledger to know the truth. We'll be able to look up the name of the person who deposited the article in the first place.
Yes, brilliant.
Oh, I'm very sorry. I'm afraid that won't be possible.
Oh?
I never ask customers' names. That's a strict policy of mine.
But why not?
Well, now, as you can imagine, some of my customers have circumstances to consider. A great many of them prefer to maintain their anonymity.
Yes, I see. But then, how can you know if an article belongs to the person asking to redeem it?
Oh, it's quite simple. Good sir, might I trouble you for the watchword associated with the article in question?
Of course, it's... Professor.
Yes, that's right. And all the evidence we need. This gentleman is the rightful owner of the article, without doubt. Mr. Shaw, this gentleman is the rightful owner of the article, without doubt.
A watchword? Interesting. It relies on you not making it up. So, about these watchwords, Mr. Windibank.
As I just explained, I never ask customers' names when they deposit items with me. There are many reasons why. Certain customers like to keep their activities secret.
That wasn't exactly a subtle glance at Mr. Sholmes now, was it? Oh, sorry, I said was it wrong. That wasn't exactly a subtle glance at Mr. Sholmes now, was it?
Great detectives have no dark secrets. None at all.
Yes, well, anyway, that's why I always ask for a watchword whenever I accept a new article. So, in many ways, it's like the secret combination of numbers are used to unlock a vault.
The
date of deposit, a description, and a watchword uniquely identify each item. And of course, then I give the storage ticket to the customer. Somebody comes to redeem something, I ask for the ticket and the watchword.
Two-factor authentication, everyone. No, I'm gonna send this screenshot to my computer scientist friend, my learned friend.
And a watchword unique.
Okay.
I asked for the ticket and the watchword.
And if that someone tells you the correct watchwords, you return the article.
That's right, sir. Yes. Just as soon as the requisite fee is paid. And I have supplied you with the information you require already. But for the avoidance of doubt, the article in question is an overcoat, deposited 2 months ago on the 15th of February.
Wasn't that the date of our last trial?
With a watchword of Professor. All perfectly correct information, sir.
Maybe this dude's actually the shady one and he just like watches people deposit stuff or something.
But how?
Really, this is beyond a joke now. There is no further room for doubt.
Ah,
So, then let that be an end to the matter. And thank you for your custom, Mr. Eggert Benedict, sir. Oh. Oh, with such reasonable rates of interest, I may even decide to come back.
this is why I hate grown-ups. Just 'cause I'm a diver, everyone thinks that makes me a liar.
Doesn't sound like she's making it up.
Oh, and the contents of the pockets, if you please, broker. Oh, but of course, sir. Here is the disc for you. Does this one? Pardon, sir? I was expecting another. That is, I deposited another.
Another disc.
Oh dear. I regret to inform you, sir, that what was deposited with me was merely the overcoat. The disc happened to be in one of the pockets, but I was completely unaware of it until now.
So, Gutterling, you're hiding more of what's rightfully mine, are you?
Say so, eh? I don't know nothing about it.
Oh, very well. Very well. Then I shall bid you farewell. Say goodbye to style.
Wait a minute. That disc is mine.
What do you think you're doing, you little tramp? You've drawn blood, you filthy animal.
Oh my. Yes, there's blood on the disc.
Because of all those sharp little bumps. I must have scratched his finger on them.
I found it first, alright? I mean, it belonged to me, old man.
That's going to be that final piece of evidence, isn't it? We're going to have to compare the blood. Probably. You know how this... Okay. This is going to be one of those things that I'm just going to have to remember forever and ever, right? We have this dude's blood. That seems so conspicuous that it has to be the case, right? Surely.
I mean, it belonged to me old man. So you're not having it. Oh, you take it. Me? If I hang on to it, they'll have it off me again. So you keep hold of it.
Miss Lestrade, why is this disc so important to her?
Okay.
You there, in the black livery. Hand that disc to me at once, please.
No, don't. He's lying. Grown-ups are all liars.
What do I do now? How am I going to resolve this? I know just the way to resolve it. I'm going to get the hell out of here.
It would be very funny if there wasn't a... Come on, please. Oh! Oh, I thought this was outside, but okay. What theme is this? This is Suspense 2, right?
Wow, Miss Lestrade is really looking daggers at that mysterious gentleman. We need to do something to calm things down before she loses control and attacks him again. Air! Look at those piercing eyes. She's clearly in no mood to talk. We have to do something quickly before this mysterious gentleman leaves to fetch the police or something. Mr. Windibank is clearly at a loss here. We have to do something about this before he reaches for that revolver of his.
Oh, well, of course what we're going to have to do is just Sholmes it up.
Look at Mr. Windibank. Look at
Why did I go into Sholmes voice?
Look at Mr. Windibank, watching diligently over his stop. There are still many... But somehow I don't really feel like this is the right time to be browsing.
Calming this fraught situation must be our first priority.
I'm fairly certain that we can find just the great thing we need among the articles here in this shop. Just the great thing we need among these articles.
Maybe we're going to have her say what... No. It would be very convenient if this could play it.
Mr. Sholmes, what are you examining with such keen interest here? As you enjoy a bar of caramel, I see. Mr. Naruhodo, so... You found me at last, Mr. Naruhodo. Sorry? After that young pickpocket sent me on my way, I was forced to lurk in the shadows, cruelly ostracized as the rest of you partook in the jovial atmosphere of fellowship. Mister, let us engage. I had nothing to occupy my mind. I was too ashamed to let society see what my downfall had done to me. So, feigning mock interest, I pretended to examine the tedious trinkets in this desolate place. Whilst, as you shrewdly observed, gnawing on the only friend I have left, this 7% solution of caramel. Pray, do you claim to understand the depths of my despair, Mr. Naruhodo? But how could you? I was so lonely, so desperately lonely. Then why on earth didn't you rejoin the conversation? Things have gone from bad to worse here, you know. Yes, I overheard much of your conversation. Or rather, in my craving for human contact, my ears devoured every word that was uttered.
You really were sad, weren't you?
Poor Mr. Sholmes. I feel simply awful for you.
It would seem that my inferences are correct.
Oh, surely you're not about to tell us that you've solved the entire case once again.
Oh, are we gonna get to do the memes? Let's do the thing. Please.
My dear madam, sometimes I wonder, were my genius for deduction to be commoditized, we would not be able to engage. How much could I pawn it for?
It seems Mr. Sholmes has had another of his flashes of inspiration. But who knows if it'll help resolve the situation between Mr. Lestrade and the mysterious gentleman. It's the right thing to do here. Leave it. I don't know. If Mr. Sholmes starts on one of his wild, rambling deductions now, he could just fan the flames of this argument. I think it would be sensible to try something else.
Mr. Naruhodo, what are you saying? The great detective has made one of his great deductions. He's sure to get straight to the heart of the matter.
That's what I'm worried about. We don't need any more cuts around here.
Dear me, you seem decidedly agitated. Clearly, I shall have to take the rein.
Yes, please do, Mr. Sholmes.
Looks like we're going to hear this deduction whether I like it or not. Da-da-dun, da-da-dun, da-da-dun-dun. This soundtrack is just such a bop. I love it so much.
Well, Miss Lestrade, it would appear you find yourself in something of a predicament.
Sir, where the blazes have you been, eh?
Pardon?
When a lady's in trouble, a true gent's supposed to be there to help, straight away, not an hour later.
Falls to the floor. Harsh.
Oh, and who, pray tell, are you? Ah, I love to introduce myself, Mr. Eggert Benedict. You have, in my eyes, a veritably encyclopedic array of curiosities about your person. Nevertheless, there are two immovable conclusions I have drawn. I beg your pardon. I beg your pardon. The first is this. The true reason for your visit to this pawnbrokery today is something you have not yet revealed. And the second is this. A considerable crime is in contemplation. One you will orchestrate with the intent to steal a vast sum of money. Well, Mr. Benedict, what say you to my deductions?
How? How? He's turned as white as a hard-boiled egg.
It would seem that once again, Mr. Sholmes has made a flawless deduction.
Just who do you think you are, sir? Yes, as I hoped. That is precisely the pained expression I was looking for. So, shall we begin? The time has come for yet another Sherlock Sholmes's Logic and Reasoning Spectacular.
Yay! Oh. Dun 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 dun.
First of all, we must ask ourselves on what business you ventured to this pawnbrokery today. You claim to have followed this pickpocket here. having had the redemption ticket stolen from you on the street. But that is most certainly a lie. The real truth is something quite different. As revealed by that which you hold in your hand. Yes, what brought you to this shop in the first place was the Oh.
No. I need another sip of water.
Aleks Jones is proud. Yes, what brought you to this shop in the first place is the staff recruitment flyer. The piece of paper in your hand is a staff wanted advertisement from this very shop. Yet even the most unobservant would soon realize that a man of your appearance has no need of such employ. In other words, there is some ulterior motive for your actions. The cane, which you unwittingly clutch to your person, exhibits an incontrovertible contradiction. Oh, and what utter rot! I've had this cane for years. The contradiction of which I speak is, of course,
I love how it points straight at it, like,
this is so obvious, this one. The missing ferrule.
no, it's the initials.
The end of any walking cane could be terminated with a metal ferrule to protect the wooden tip. And yet, detailed analysis shows that the wooden tip of this stick to be utterly bare.
You didn't need your goggles for that, mate.
Therefore, there is only one conclusion. The rod you hold in your hand, which appears to be a walking cane, is in fact no cane at all. You recoil, sir. Is something wrong? And in your recoiling, you inadvertently facilitate the answer to the next conundrum to present itself.
It's too small.
Namely, what is the truth behind this rod you bear? Yes, your reaction betrays the truth. The handle, which you evidently would like to conceal, is the key to understanding this riddle, you see. From the moment I saw it, my suspicions were aroused. What walking cane demands such a stout handle? Mused I. But of course, as I said, this is no walking cane. No, that rod is the broken handle of a shovel. It's a fork handle, if you beg the expression.
There you go. I managed to think of a joke that's actually a good reference.
It's a fork handle. Is the broken handle of a shovel. What? Are you insane? And now, having determined this undeniable truth, the conclusion is clear. Your true motive for coming here was to take employment at this establishment in order to excavate the ground beneath the premises. What a calculated crime you have conceived, sir. A wickedly calculated crime. A marvellous deduction. Ah, the art of deduction. What a marvellous experience. Now, Mr. Benedict, let us continue. For we must expose the details of this elaborate crime you have in the planning.
Check that everything's good. Yes.
Oh, this is utterly absurd. You suggest that I, a gentleman, intend to excavate the ground beneath this pawnbrokery with a broken shovel? What on earth do you propose I could expect to find there? Oh, what do you on earth do you propose I could expect to find there? Some long-forgotten treasure, perhaps? Save for such a fanciful theory, what possible reason could I have to do as you say? Oh, but there is ample reason. As you are only too well aware, Mr. Benedict. Ah, and your furtive glance is more telling than I could have hoped. What? Let us consider what would motivate a man to infiltrate a shop such as this and covertly dig beneath its floor. The answer is revealed by the council notice on the counter to which your eyes were inadvertently drawn. This letter gives us notice of public works to be carried out in the local area. And according to the enclosed plan of the upcoming sewerage works, beneath this shop runs a sewer that adjoins another, one that runs under the bank on the opposite side of the road. Oh, this madness has entered the sewers now, has it? By excavating the ground beneath our feet, you would gain access to the waterway that flows in very close proximity to the great vault of the financial institution opposite. What are you? In summary, sir, you devised a master plan to pull off an elaborate bank robbery by dint of the underground tunnels. Master plan? Oh. Which brings us to at last, to the final chapter of this lurid scheme. Let us engage with what plunder did the thief hope to make off from the underground vault of the bank? Are you quite serious? Having consulted with Scotland Yard some days ago, I happen to know the answer. But naturally, the answer is no secret to you, is it, Mr. Benedict? I have no idea what you're talking about. Allow me to present a rather interesting piece of evidence. You see, a picture postcard tells us all we need to know. A postcard of the Great Exhibition. I'm afraid you've quite lost me. Currently in the final stages of preparation, the Great Exhibition will soon be underway, and the government has provided extra funds to complete its centerpiece, the Crystal Tower. Funds that currently sit in the vault of the bank on the other side of this road. Pardon? Yes, that considerable crime you have been contemplating is the theft of that which sits in the vault of that bank, the special reserve funds for the Great Exhibition. Of course, that is top secret police information, so keep it under your hat, please.
Nice one.
Thus concludes Sherlock Holmes's great deduction of the pawnbroking puzzle.
Mr. Sholmes?
Well, Mr. Naruhodo, an impressively upbeat deduction for a detective racked with loneliness. Would you not agree?
Was it true what you said about the bank over the road and what it has in its vault?
Indeed, though few know of its existence, It is one of the government's most closely guarded secrets. Gregson told me in the strictest confidence. He told me in the strictest confidence.
But you just announced it to everyone here. Rather loudly, in fact.
Ah,
And if it's such a big secret, how would Mr. Benedict have come to find out about it?
there can be but one explanation for that. Clearly, it is because the man is a criminal.
But what if he didn't know anything about the money in the vault? He is a criminal, as you say. And buying a brand new shovel is sure to be of the first thing he does now that you've revealed the secret.
Oh. Or if he doesn't, maybe Mr. Windibank will. He already has plenty of shovels here, after all.
Oh, my life! I assure you I'm not so unscrupulous. Well, hopefully this has taught you all a valuable lesson. Sensitive information must be handled with the utmost of care. One can never be sure that someone privy to secrets won't disclose them. And once the word is out, it's out.
Perhaps I'll think twice before confiding you next time, Mr. Sholmes.
An excellent idea, Mr. Naruhodo. An excellent idea. Ha 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 ha.
Well then, Mr. Naruhodo, you know what to do, I'm sure.
Yes, let's listen to that great deduction again, and see if we can massage it into shape.
Very well then, let us start once more from the beginning. Of Herlock Sholmes is magnificent, logic and reasoning spectacular. First of all, we must ask ourselves on what business you ventured into this pawnbrokery today.
That's the...
You claim to have followed this pickpocket here, having had a redemption ticket stolen from you on the street. But that is most certainly a lie. The real truth is something quite different. As revealed by that which you hold in your hand. Yes, what brought you to the shop in the first place is that staff recruitment flyer.
So, by Mr. Sholmes' reasoning, Mr. Benedict came here in order to apply for a job so he could dig down through the floor.
Yes, in an attempt to tunnel into the sewers to gain access to the money in the vault of the bank across the road. But he wouldn't get very far with a broken shovel, would he?
No, I think it's fair to say his motives lie elsewhere. The question is where? What did bring Mr. Benedict here at this particular point in time?
It certainly is a flyer from Mr. Windibank's shop.
Let's see. Windibank wants you. Pawnbroker's assistant required. It's an eye-catching advertisement, that's for sure.
I've seen the same flyer up here inside the shop, I think. Perhaps Mr. Windibank is always in need of more staff.
So Mr. Benedict came here to apply for a job. That's just too hard to believe.
That's a proper English gentleman's cane, isn't it? Look at the beautifully...
Oh, no, that's the wrong voice. That's a proper English gentleman's cane, isn't it? Look at the beautifully polished brass on the handle.
Yes, but Mr. Sholmes is right. It's not the sort of handle that you usually see on a cane.
Perhaps it's the latest London fashion. I mean, that's just guesswork, of course.
Perhaps you could adopt a cane, Mr. Naruhodo. It might rather suit you. Or use your katana as one, at least.
I have a feeling it might argue with the sword around my waist. stylish hat. That silk top hat is whiter than white. Only an English gentleman could hope to carry off something so bright. It looks so incongruous with the black overcoat, don't you think? Perhaps it's the latest London fashion. I mean, that's just guesswork, of course. How about it, Mr. Naruhodo? I think you look very fetching in a white top hat. Well, you know, I think it might look rather incongruous with my black university uniform, so... Dun, 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 dun. It's a drawing of Gina, I think. Oh, look at all the scribbled notes on the back of the flyer here. I don't believe it. What is it? Listen to what it says. Name, Gina Lestrade. Height, 5'2". Green cap, scruffy waistcoat, grubby white shirt, blue satchel, ragged. It's a detailed description of Miss Lestrade. Goodness! There's even a sketch of her, hat and all. Though if he showed it to her, she'd fire that smoke grenade launcher in his face for sure. And look, the details of this shop have been written down here too. Windibank's pawnbrokery, Baker Street, redemption deadline, 15th of April. Which is today's date. Why would Mr. Benedict have all that information scrawled on the back of that piece of paper? Info about Miss Lestrade. Let's do it again. Suspicious writing on the back of a suspicious flyer in the hands of a suspicious gentleman. I didn't think there was anything suspicious about the flyer, Mr. Naruhodo. But yes, Miss Lestrade's name and height and a description of the clothes she's wearing. Not to mention the sketch of her likeness, which I'm fairly sure she wouldn't take lightly. And today's date, too. Redemption deadline, 15th of April. We can't let this go, can we? It's far too suspicious. Take that!
Take that!
Yes, what brought you to this shop in the first place is the info about Miss Lestrade.
Quite so, my dear fellow. It would appear that the writing and sketch on the reverse of the flyer pertain to the pickpocket, Miss Lestrade, and to Mr. Windibank's pawnbrokery here.
You originally told us that you had merely given chase after Miss Lestrade stole the redemption ticket from you.
But that, sir, is a thinly veiled lie.
It is the information on the back of the flyer that led you here today, by which I mean... Here, to Windibank's pawnbrokery, and today, the redemption deadline of that overcoat.
So, you waited outside for the young girl, matching the description you have written down to arrive. And you have gone to some lengths to hide the reason for your pursuit of Miss Lestrade. In other words, there is some ulterior motive for your actions. The cane, which you unwittingly clutch to your person, exhibits an incontrovertible contradiction. Oh, what utter rot! I've had this cane for years. The contradiction of which I speak is, of course, the missing ferrule. Ferrule.
What's a ferrule or a ferrule? Ferrule? Google, can you come back from like 120 years in the future and like help me out, please? Ferrule. Well, I mean, like, I know from the context what it means, but I want to know how it's pronounced. Ferrule. 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 Ferrule or feral? Ferrule or a feral?
What's a ferrule?
It's the metal cap commonly found on the end of a cane, Mr. Naruhodo.
Ah, the bit that makes the nice clacking sound on the pavement.
Yes, exactly. And Mr. Sholmes is right. It appears to be missing on his cane.
It doesn't actually look broken, does it?
No, it doesn't. Though the gentleman certainly did recoil when Mr. Sholmes identified the cane as suspicious.
In other words, there's some secret about the cane that Mr. Benedict would rather we don't know. Okay, there's only that and that. It's so obvious. It's too obvious the game won't even let me make a mistake. Look here, Miss Susato. There are some letters on the handle.
Ah, yes. Those must be initials, I think. In the West, it's customary for people to engrave their belongings with the first letters of their names.
So, Herlock Sholmes would be HS, you mean? Totally not SH.
That's right. And the initials on this cane, obviously. Oh.
AG. Why does it feel though that's not quite right? Take that! The contradiction of which I speak is, of course, the initialing. A most astute observation, wouldn't you say, Mr. Eggert Benedict? We are led to believe, sir, that your initials are EB. Yet, in a most possessive manner, you have in your grasp a cane bearing the initials AG. An incontrovertible contradiction indeed. Would you not agree? Oh, no, you're wrong. This cane isn't... You said before that you've had that cane for years. Grr. So don't try to tell us that you just borrowed it from a friend or found it in the park. In short, though you hold yourself to be a gentleman, you have withheld your true name. Fair enough. That ripped something. You recoil, sir. Is something wrong? And in your recoiling, you inadvertently facilitate the answer of the next conundrum to present itself. Namely, what is the truth behind this rod you bear? Yes, your reaction betrays the truth. The handle, which you evidently would like to conceal, is the key to understanding this riddle, you see. Let's consider the bare bones of what's happened here. Miss Lestrade redeemed that fine-looking overcoat, and now a mysterious man has appeared, introducing himself with a fake name, and claiming that the overcoat belongs to him.
But we know he actually identified Miss Lestrade from a written description, which suggests that everything else he's told us is untrue.
So what we need to do here is somehow prove that the overcoat cannot possibly belong to him. It did just rip, so yeah. Let's see. Do the examining like always. This is a rather strange handle for sure.
Yes, certainly unusual for a gentleman's cane. You expect to see such a cane being twirled charmingly by its owner as he skips merrily down the street.
You do?
Ah, something has just occurred to me. We have a shovel back in our office, don't we?
Yes, you're right. Its handle is exactly the same shape as this cane's. Here we go. Now I'm starting to wonder if it's not actually a cane at all. It's a spade.
Mr. Sholmes' deductions are curiously compelling, aren't they?
It's because he's not actually rich, maybe? And he just goes around wearing this fancy suit to look rich? Like, that's his only asset that he owns ever? Like, that's just his thing? I don't know. Or he just robbed it. That makes sense too.
I've been looking closely at this hat for some time now. It suddenly occurred to me that a bright white top hat like that might just be the hat for me. You like it, do you? I think I do, don't I? Well, in that case, you could see if there isn't something similar among Mr. Windibank's forfeited items. After we've concluded our investigation, we must focus on the task at hand at the moment.
I can't avoid it any longer.
Oh, the seam on the shoulder there is coming apart, look! So it is. You know, a moment ago when Mr. Benedict was surprised by something that was said, I thought I heard him make a rather strange noise. Sounded a bit like a tiny growl. Now I think it was probably the sound of the seam ripping open.
If you look closely, it does seem to be a very tight fit.
The sleeves are stretched to bursting, and he wouldn't. The sleeves are stretched to bursting, and he wouldn't have a hope of fastening it at the front. If he were to run around in it, I'm sure the whole thing would fall apart. That I'd like to see. Sorry. So how can we make Mr. Benedict run around?
She's really giving this some thought.
Take that! The split seam, which you evidently would like to conceal, is the key to understanding this riddle, you see. Ah. Yes, because the overcoat is rather obviously a poor fit. Having forced it over your broad shoulders, the seam is already breaking apart. My suspicions were aroused from the outset. When you so boldly lied about your name and so boldly waylaid this pickpocket.
Ah. Ah.
The catalogue of untruths has all been for very one specific purpose. To steal the article that the young girl has redeemed from Mr. Windibank.
Arg.
Oh. What really irks me is this. The considerable crime I initially imagined has been considerably curtailed. To abscond with the redeemed item. Solved.
What's he going to do about this then?
Think on his feet. Now, Mr. Benedict, let us continue. For we must expose the details of this elaborate crime you have been in the planning. Oh, this is utterly absurd. Suggest that I, a gentleman, designed a wheeze to filch some tawdry article of pawnage? Have you forgotten that I redeemed the article in the proper manner, using the watchword? Had I not been the one to deposit it in the first place, how could I possibly have known the relevant details? N'est-ce pas?
It's not. No? What? It's just a thing. Not is it. Is it not? Oh, is it not? There you go. I know French. Is it not?
N'est-ce pas?
watchword can be discovered. As you are only too well aware, Mr. Benedict. Ah, and your furtive glance is more telling than I could have hoped. Oh, what? Let us consider how one might come to learn a secret watchword relating to the pawned property of another. The method is revealed by the council notice on the counter, to which your eyes were inadvertently drawn.
The direction of the deduction must change rather dramatically now, I think.
Yes, no more talk of tunneling into the sewers. It is a pity, because it all sounded rather exciting. Anyway, you can't deny that this mysterious gentleman did know the watchword.
Yes, Professor. If you didn't know the word, Mr. Windibank would never allow you to redeem the article.
Or, looking at it another way, if you did know that word, Mr. Windibank would allow you to redeem the article whether it was yours or not. So the question is, how could this gentleman have found the watchword out somehow? Dun, 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 dun. Oh, there's a photo of a kitty.
Baker Street Works is the title.
Yes, and it does mention sewerage works, as Mr. Sholmes said.
Oh,
It specifically mentions that tonight's sale at the confectionery shop on the corner won't be affected. That's very classic.
case solving first, confectionery later, Mr. Naruhodo.
Ah, curse my overly expressive face. This is Mr. Windibank's gun.
Yes, loaded with only one bullet, he said. It would appear that being a pawnbroker is very life or death profession.
That might just be this particular establishment. This looks to be quite an old lamp.
But it's obviously been well looked after. There's oil in it too.
In other words, it's still in use.
Yes, it would appear so. But how could it be related to Mr. Benedict knowing the watchword for the pawned article? I have no idea.
That makes two of us. I wasn't even reading that. I was just saying the words as they appeared. No, you can't do the spade. Oh, there's a doggo as well. Can I examine the doggo? No. Look at this, Miss Usato.
Ah, it appears to be a memo that Mr. Windibank has scribbled to himself.
Let's see. What does it say? Oh, I can't even understand this scribbled handwriting. Oh, Professor. Mr. Windibank must make a note of the watchwords his customers give him, right before their eyes. And in alarmingly clear script as well.
Oh dear, I don't know where to look. Who knows what other secrets I might see?
Take that!
Take that!
The method is revealed by the notelet on the counter, to which your eyes were inadvertently drawn. Yes, the broker here follows the same procedure whenever a customer comes to redeem an article. He asks the customer for the watchword and notes down the response uttered on a notelet he has to hand. Then he consults his ledger and confirms whether or not the watchword matches that of the article in question. Oh, I would expect nothing less of a diligent pawnbroker. But his diligence clearly has its disadvantages.
What are you talking about? It is increasingly apparent that you were present in this shop before your accusation against Miss Lestrade. In all likelihood, you followed her inside and observed her talking to Mr. Windibank. And the diligent broker made a note of the watchword, as is his common practice. You observed him writing the word professor on the notelet beside the ledger. And that, sir, was the master plan you devised to steal the pawned article from the young Miss Lestrade. Master plan? Which brings us at last to the final chapter of this lurid scheme. Why would you go to such lengths to redeem that particular article from this pawnbroker? Oh, are you quite serious? For an ill-fitting overcoat hardly seems to justify the effort, much less a worthless music box disc. But naturally, you had a very good reason to make them yours, didn't you, Mr. Benedict? Oh, I have no idea what you're talking about. Allow me to present a rather interesting piece of evidence. You see, this picture postcard tells us all we need to know. The articles we're talking about are the overcoat and the music box disc that was in one of the pockets, which according to Mr. Windibank, even worth a penny. Yet this man went to such lengths to steal them. I wonder if perhaps already have the evidence we need to explain it, Mr. Naruhodo. Could we? Really? I'd better have a thorough look through all the evidence we've collected so far. There's only one piece, so certainly isn't my armband. Oh, for McGilded. Ooh, his name finally reappears. Look at all the little bumps on the disc. They're so tiny. Yes, the protrusions are called pins, and they pluck the teeth of the comb to make notes. And just on the edge, there's a small amount of blood. Yes, the blood of the mysterious Mr. Eggert Benedict. Oh, I just realised. She deposited the coat on the 15th of February to the 15th of April. She stole the coat from Mr. McGilded after that trial because that was the 15th. This disc contains some secret message or something for Mr. McGilded. Aha, very interesting. When Miss Lestrade tried to grab the disc from him, the pin scratched his fingers, it seems. Like when you're grating some daikon radish and accidentally... Oh. Like when you're grating some daikon radish and accidentally catch your finger. Ouch. Just thinking about it hurts and puts me off eating radish. Oh, there's a little scrap of paper stuck to the reverse side of the disc. Look. And I had a feeling that he would appear in this trial as well. Like, he would be relevant. Right, because he was never explained. His crime, not anyway. Crime. And a scribbled word or two. It looks like somebody's name. Or McGilded. McGilded? It couldn't be. But it is, Mr. Naruhodo. A name I shall never forget for as long as I live. But why? Why is his name on this? Take that!
Take that!
You see, this music box disc tells us all we need to know. Oh, what's that on the back? It reads, "For McGilded." Ah,
I'm still here. My voice will never disappear from this game. You will have to do my voice till the very end. Oh, ho, ho, Mr. Magnus McGilded.
Mr. Magnus McGilded, the unfortunate philanthropist who perished in curious circumstances at the Old Bailey 2 months ago. A prominent man in London, though his loan-mongering demonstrated a distinct lack of scruples. So, you're an associate of his, aren't you? Or perhaps a subordinate?
AG. Magnus McGilded. And the dagger had an M on it. Mr. McGilded was a man of unusually small stature. In fact, he was precisely the right size for that overcoat you've squeezed yourself into. True. Your true identity remains... your true identity remains shrouded in mystery, Mr. Eggert Benedict. But the final conclusion here is crystal clear. The reason you came to this pawnbrokery today was to retrieve an article left behind by the late Magnus McGilded. Nice one. Well, Mr. Magnus McGilded. Not a name I expected to hear in these circumstances. Oh.
Mr. Sholmes, I'm afraid there is something very troubling on my mind.
Pray tell, Miss Susato.
Well, according to what Mr. Windibank told us earlier, today was the final day on which the code could have been redeemed, was it not?
Oh, yes, ma'am. That's correct. Today would be precisely 2 months since it was... it's a shame, sir. Oh, yes, ma'am, that's correct. Today would be precisely 2 months since it was first deposited.
Well, today is the 15th of April. So 2 months ago today...
Would have been the 15th of February, sir. That's right. It's all carefully recorded in my ledger. Deposited at 10:30 p.m, I see.
And the crime took place... Oh. In the little flashback scene from the Fair Play, we saw a dude wearing a jacket that didn't look like Mr. McGilded's jacket and a hat that didn't look like Mr. McGilded's hat. Oh, it was this jacket, And this was after the crime took place, because it took place a little after 10. I remember.
Deposited at 10:30 p.m, I see.
But... What? But that suggests... Yes! 15th of February is precisely the day on which the omnibus murder took place. At 10:30 in the evening is precisely the time at which the terrible events were unfolding.
Suggestive is not the word. It would seem the matter is entirely beyond coincidence. Oh, you're of course at liberty to make whatever outlandish deductions you choose. However... I must insist that you hand over the music box disc now. Oh, it would be a terrible shame for you to return to your native land in a box. Ugh, what do I do? Absolutely not. Fuck you. There are some things a man must protect at all costs. This may be one of those things. Then again, it may not. Hold it! Hold it! Oh, Mr. Scholz!
I got his voice right at least.
Hold it! Mr. Windibank, this is my shop. I can't allow any harm to come of any customers. If that were to happen, I should have to take my own life. Hold it. Mr. Windibank, no.
Alright, that's enough. Ooh!
Inspector Gregson. Inspector? That's right, Sunshine. The alarm was raised on one of our dedicated emergency lines.
Bam, 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 bam.
That's right, Sunshine. The alarm was raised on one of our dedicated emergency lines. So we got here as fast as we could. Now, what's this all about, eh? Oh, Mr. Schultz. Oh, praise be. You're here at last. I was moments away from forfeiting my own life here in my very own establishment.
You can't not like Gregson's theme. It's too good.
Oh, it would seem you have the upper hand.
So we've got like a few parties going on now. We've got like the government and including like what's his face? Strongheart, and I suppose the Crown Prosecution Service and Barak von Zweig's as well, right? So you've got that lot of people. You've got the McGilded, like what is probably like a crime syndicate or something. I don't know. Or like some operating just within the lines of the law sort of thing.
Right, you lot have got some explaining to do. I don't appreciate being bothered with some petty argy-bargy.
Petty? Mr. Windibank very nearly met with his end.
So did I. Yeah, by his own gun as far as I can tell. Oh dear. And the whole of Britain could meet with its end if I don't get to the bottom of the case I'm supposed to be working on.
What? What on earth is the case, Inspector?
Spare no detail, Gregson. Oh, I might have said a little too much. No matter. It's nothing to do with you lot. Anyway, sir, you're going to have to come down with me to the station.
Wait, am I going to have to defend him? Whoa, that would be crazy.
Oh, but of course, Inspector. Ah! He's getting away. Get after him. Oh, get after him, lads. Whistle the beat officer too.
Sir.
There's been a spate of thefts at pawn shops round here recently. So we've fitted emergency buttons underneath the counters for brokers to let us know when there's trouble. Oh, Inspector, I was very worried there for a while. Very worried indeed. Mr. Scholz. Now then, Mr. Permanently in mourning.
Oh, yes.
I'll be taking that, whatever it is, of Mr. McGildage down to the yard. Thank you very much. So, hand it over.
Oh, yes, of course.
No, don't. Don't give it to him. That's mine, that is. Mine.
Oh, I'm sorry, miss. But anything belonging to Mr. McGilded has to be taken in as evidence now. But anything belonging to Mr. McGilded has to be taken in as evidence now.
As evidence?
If the police demand something as evidence, my dear fellow, we have no choice but to capitulate. It's all yours, Inspector.
I'm just going to make a comment here, yeah? Both the mainline Ace Attorney games and these are translated by Janet Sue, right? What's that? I think so, anyway. Janet Sue. Yeah, so she did Spirit of Justice. Now, she clearly treats this game with so much more respect than the mainline games. Either that or the Japanese is so much like better written word for word, like line for line. And the reason that is like, if I look here, right? In Spirit of Justice, they would use a word like capitulate in the middle of a trial, just completely out of nowhere, for no reason, just like, and it just doesn't fit in with the characters and how they act usually. And it's just like, it just makes it sound like they're using fancy words for fancy sake. But in this game it just fits right in, and it's every line feels right. I haven't had any moments, well, I had like maybe one or two, but there's been no lines that are like weird, right? That take you out of the immersion of it all. Yeah, like I feel like Janet Sue has just done so much better of a job on this game compared to Spirit of Justice. Although maybe it's just because the original Japanese. And to be honest, when you look at the fact that this is Shutakumi and that is not, I have a feeling it's probably that mainly, but I don't know.
It's all yours, Inspector.
And so, we handed Mr. McGilded's disc over to Inspector Gregson, and was summarily turfed out of the shop onto the street. That's a great spot to end. That works very well. Wow. That was actually really good. That set the stage. That really has set the stage. So we've got like... Wow, it's so crazy. Because Barak van Zykes was trying to get rid of Miss McGilded for the longest of time. Right? And it's pretty clear that he has like this guy, his buddy or whatever, his associate. And it's just kind of... Yeah, like... This is really leveraging off of that case 3. We're gonna have like the whole plot behind Mr. McGilded and what's the deal with him. That's crazy. I'm interested to see what actual crime takes place though, and what sort of trial we're gonna end up in. I'm very interested. That'll be the next part, I guess. But for now, I shall leave it here. I'll do the thing I normally do. Because you can't avoid seeing the first line of dialogue, so I might as well see it. Oh, it's just... Yeah, okay, so I'll leave it here. Yeah, so... Until next time. Bye-bye. Let's check that the stream didn't spaz out this time. No, it looks good. So...